That's spin. It's flat out spin. Yeah. We wanted to stop the run. You don't trade a defensive end that affects the game so significantly for a position that frequently does not. Again, there's Chris Jones. There's New York Giant Dexter, the Dexter in New York, who can come for you, put you on a figurative slab. Listen. Aaron Donald, there's not many of those in the center of a defense that can affect in the same way that Micah can from out. And I understand he disappeared in the playoffs. That's what I told Packer fans. You took care of him. Now you're going to have to take care of him.
But what if Kenny Clark turns into something?
He can.
I have to look at the positive side. I know. You know what I mean?
When you stop the run and it's 3rd and 8, you need somebody to sack the quarterback on 3rd and 8. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have to stop the run again. That's why it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
No sense. And the deep dive on ESPN.com, everyone should check it out. I read it before the show because I'm a lead pipe wielding professional. And, you see, hey, Charles Haley would have knocked him off that training table. Like, well, Charles Haley's gone. It's a different day and age. Okay? Yeah. Charles Haley probably would have told Mike to stop podcasting. Or he would have said, "What's a podcast?" You know what I mean? Like it's the 21st century, and now there's going to be spin all over the place.
Yeah, we don't know how long he was on that table too. Like it could have been just like a,
And then Micah, by the way, he showed up. I loved his outfit.
Me too.
On Friday, talking about what the last month was like for him.
I would say these last 4 months have been probably the hardest 4 months of my life. And, my family's saying you're acting different, because it's hard. When you're the soldier of the family, it's hard to say when you're unsure yourself. It's easy when, you could just go to the store and buy the groceries and know there's going to be food on the table. But if you can't go to the store, how's there going to be food on the table? And that's kind of how I felt. So, but during this time, it just made me stronger. It made me more mentally stronger, that I can get through anything. And it just showed me that, whatever happens, you can't really control it, and that all you can do control is every day.
And then you see in the article, the Cowboys said, according to the article, Cowboys told the Packers, love the player, not the person.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And
from the guy that once signed Greg Hardy.
No, I get it. Talent over everything, and the everything that Micah apparently was bringing to the equation that rankled the Cowboys doesn't meet the standard of consuming the talent portion and throwing it and giving it to Green Bay of all teams, of all franchises. The thing that surprised me, and Troy Aikman just brought up, was the back. Because, he was saying, I can't practice because of my back. And I thought that was just to try and set things up for the decision I thought it was all going to come down to between he and the Cowboys, which was tomorrow, Wednesday, when it's time to get on a bus to get on a plane with your teammates. And he could basically say, I have this back problem, which is why Brian Schottenheimer came out and said, the MRI is clean. So if the MRI is clean, then why does he need an epidural in Green Bay? Like, none of this seems to compute and make sense. But rubber's meeting the road. And the Cowboys are going to have to go first against Philadelphia on a night that they're raising the banner. And Jalen Hurts is coming downhill at you with Saquon. And so Kenny Clark's going to get his first test.
Stop the run.
Significantly.
Yeah. Good luck.
And we will see. And he can contribute. But this does not compute. It still doesn't, and it won't until we see who the Cowboys start to draft with their draft choices. I can't wait to ask Von Miller about all this, since he knows about the position. Hour 2, still here on Disney Plus. Also, the Herschel Walker stuff, I understand what Troy is mentioning, that it's a trade that everybody thought in Dallas was insane, because why are you trading your best player? And then they wound up with a draft haul that turned into a franchise-altering moment. So I understand that, but this is not that. I mean, this is Kenny Clark now straight up for Micah. There's a draft choice next year that they could turn into multiple draft choices if they trade out. We'll see how that works. And then there's another number one the following year. We'll see what they do there. Understood. And then we can look back and say it was franchise altering because they already paid Deron Bland, and they're going to use the cap space to wrap up Smith, their lone remaining Smith on the offensive line, right? So they're going to, in the same way that the Yankees didn't get Soto, they started getting a whole bunch of other people, and we'll find out how that comes out in the wash in October in baseball.
Last night.
I understand he showed up and he showed out.
Just wanted to point that out.
But right now you're a Met fan more than you're a Cowboy fan because that's one team that has a chance to make its conference or its league championship round.
I don't rank my children, Rich.
Understood. Neither do I, sir. You just accused me of doing that.
Hold on a second.
This
You
guy-
definitely do, TJ.
Yeah.
You definitely
I
do.
don't rank my kids.
Mets are one right now. Penn State, Florida State might
Well,
be
in
in the
terms
top
of having
three
a
as well.
chance to win it all, the Mets have a better chance than, say, the Sixers or the Clippers or anybody else he roots for. Although, nice win for Florida State messing up
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
And Pitt, too, don't forget.
So, all said and done, we're going to see how this works out down the road. But don't tell me this is Herschel Walker. This could potentially, if you want to use a more, I guess, recent analogy, what you're hoping for is the Devers trade for that Red Sox fan over there. At the time, it was like, what are they doing? And now the Red Sox are steaming towards the playoffs, and the Giants are like, what the hell just happened around here?
What if?